What were you known for in high school? People always called me Ralphie because people thought I looked like him from A Christmas Story. A lot of people didn't know what my actual name was and just assumed it was Ralphie because that's what everyone called me. I got Farkas because of my red hair. I hate Christmas. I was mostly known for being that girl who was insanely tall but had 0 ounces of athleticism. Nickname for all 4 years was Big Kate. Go figure. I was the movie guy. People would try to get into my group for group projects involving videos because they knew I'd willingly do almost all the work and turn out a good product. I'm a film major now, so it stuck. The backup smart guy. Need help with an assignment, but the local genius is busy or is silently, or actually, mocking you for your inability to learn something? I was probably your man. Oh, I loved you in high school. I didn't really need help, but you were fun to hang out with. I was the weird kid with the cool parents. I was into heavy metal, video games, always changed my hairstyle and clothes, but my parents were super cool about letting me have parties at the house, so I was always very social. This is basically me. Being the one with the cool parents is freaking rad. There were only 2 out gay kids in my class. One of them I'll call Rick. Rick wasn't just gay, Rick was flaming gay. Rick was 7 inches from the midday sun gay. In high school I was known as the well at least he's not like Rick gay guy in the class. My brother had a friend in college like you and an acquaintance like Rick, and Rick once asked the other guy if he was truly gay, because he sure didn't act like it. I was known as the quiet kid. People have said to me, are you one of those really awkward kids who is eventually going to shoot everyone? I would like to just say that I am not one of those people who would shoot anyone. I'm a quiet kid, wouldn't shoot. I was the guy who people thought was going to start a big business and become the next Bill Gates. I was also known for being funny. I'm now a preschool teacher, and everyone is supportive of me, but no one expects it when I haven't talked to them and then tell them. I was invisible in high school. I was not known at all. It was handy because even the bullies ignored me. I would be amazed if anyone remembered me. Sad, go up a few posts and you'll see that I'm working on a cool time machine. A few of us are going back in time to redo some high school and make it better. Come join us. We have beers. I experienced 2 senior years because I'm a dumbass. I was dating this girl, Allison, who was a grade beneath me, so in my 2nd senior year we were in the same grade. All of my friends had graduated and I didn't know too many underclassmen. All throughout high school I was known as Albizii. My 2nd senior year I didn't have a name. I was just known as Allison's boyfriend. Being a white guy that dated a lot of black women. Still not sure how I feel about that. I am with you there, brother. In 10th grade I talked to one of the super hot girls and we texted and she told me to go to the boys restroom in the history wing. I, of course filled with rage and hormones that fueled my rock hard erection, did so. I then fingered her in that restroom whilst making out. A teacher saw her coming out the boys restroom as I was just drinking some water from the water fountain. My friends then found out because they saw her getting scolded for it. I was then known as Golden Fingers. And yes, I did wash them. Eventually. JK. Sniff. I wasn't known for it, but I lost my virginity in a low trafficked bathroom during 4th period my 11th grade. I'm super proud of that story. I went to a party after my senior year of high school that had a bunch of underclassmen there, and one of them came up to me and said, "You were the one who was tight with all the teachers, right?" And he was right. I always talked with teachers. Randomly went to their classrooms and sat down and just chatted during their downtime between classes. I liked talking politics and sports, but nobody in school gave a crap about that stuff except teachers, so I talked to them. I liked doing this with teachers just because it was fun. Teachers were a lot cooler than people have them credit for. I would have said, the guy who skipped school every day. I lacked confidence and only had a handful of people who I considered friends. Not popular, not unpopular. Bad home life and cut school to go bowling. A lot. I assumed a few people would remember that I was pretty smart, but I actually asked a bunch of people this last summer at my 30-year reunion. I don't lack confidence anymore, and I even sat down for a bit at the popular table. Yes, it still exists. At the reunion. Here's how they described me. Smart and funny, always joking, but never unkind. Evidently, I helped a lot of people with a lot of homework and a lot of classes. I never actually did any homework, just remembered stuff. They remembered me being much smarter than I ever displayed in high school. Heck, I barely graduated. My family moved before I graduated and I quit. They just sent me a diploma. I was remembered for completely different things than I ever imagined. My high school was the first in the nation to give a laptop to every student. I was known as the kid that crashed the school's network for a week. It really wasn't intentional, I swear. I was forever known for being that kid who got expelled for finding a doppelganger of his teacher and accidentally spreading it across 3 different high schools, a total of 5,000 students. It actually ended up making me a huge number of friends all over the city, and I became a recognizable face almost everywhere I went. The teacher ended up leaving the school the next year, and actually moved to Brazil the year after. The Mormon one. Hey, you CBFW86. How many wives are you going to have? Dunno yet. How many sisters do you have? Fight. As a fellow Mormon, this will be my new reply for that question. I was known for being a S. I was actually a virgin but BB talking. Oh, and another commenter reminded me, for being busty. I had the biggest boobs in my year and tried to tape them down. A very uncomfortable time in my life. I feel like girls with big boobs or asses are stereotyped as S, especially by other women. It isn't surprising really, with those qualities being shown as a sexual preference. I just like the faulty logic society says men like big boobs butts, therefore anyone with these qualities must touch menadongs. Or, more basically, jealous BB jealous. Well, my entire group, if you needed something we would get it done. From illicit substances to kinda under the table deals. I say it's really helped my networking skills. I need to hear more. I was known as the person who would eat anything, gum off the bleachers, food that fell on the ground, crayons, anything. Pretty sure this guy might be a goat. I started smoking pot a couple years before everyone else. For a couple years I was a stoner in a derogatory sense. Then when everyone else started smoking I was a stoner in a less derogatory sense. Also I hooked up with about half of the girls I graduated with. Girls never gave me the time of day until about halfway through junior year, so I took advantage while I could. However, due to my proclivities for marijuana and easy women I didn't graduate on time. So I guess I was known for making poor life choices. I was hands down the most unpopular kid in high school. I had it all. I had Asperger's. I was a goth. I hated everybody and everything, and I thought wearing loads of black makeup was a good idea. Coming to school laden with chains was a bad idea too. Additionally, people assumed I was on drugs because I was so spaced out all the time. The freaking potheads who frequently passed bags of weed around in class assumed I was on hard drugs. I had never touched a drug in my life besides caffeine at that point. I just spent a lot of time daydreaming, drawing, not paying attention to people. The people also assumed I was rich for some reason. I have no idea why. We were rather poor. It was all good. I eventually made friends once I wised up a bit and people grew older and we all stopped being, well, kids. I kind of like how things went in high school. Sure, I had no friends and everybody hated me, but I learned a lot. It helped me to adapt and become a little more relatable to people later on. I want pictures. Regularly being on acid. This was the early 90s. It was super cheap and everywhere. Some joggers in Kansas were supplying it all. That's a fabled substance where I'm from. It can't be found. I was the diabetic pothead who looked and acted like Hermione Granger. It didn't help that my boyfriend, who was also a huge stoner, was a ginger. Before we started dating, I was that kid. I got my lips pierced underneath the stairwell, wore suspenders with pink lighting bolts on that I hand stitched, mind you. Literally sewed my jeans even tighter so that it was a struggle to put them on, and had the god awful David Bowie from Labyrinth poof hair. Then I started taking drugs and became normal-ish. Still got nominated for most unique in high school, mainly because my hair changed color at least once a month, and despite all my drug extracurriculars, I still managed to be one of the top students in my class. wore suspenders with pink lighting bolts on that I hand stitched, mind you. This is cool. This makes me feel better about being nominated for most unique in middle school. Everyone knew of me, at least. You couldn't miss the 6 feet 3 inches white boy decked out in leather and chains with a massively wicked mohawk amidst a sea of Hispanics. Everyone thought I was also a white supremacist as well, despite dating a Mexican girl. White supremacists can and do still date people of color. They aren't very nice to them, but it happens. I jokingly began saying I was an underwear model and changed my occupation on Facebook to model at Calvin Klein. That caught on pretty quick, and before I knew it, people actually thought I was an underwear model. You can be an all-star soccer and football player, have a 4.0 GPA, be personable and polite to your teachers, welcoming and inclusive to every one of your classmates no matter what social circle they come from. But you frick one fat girl. That's it. That's my legacy. I'm known as the guy who got yelled at a lot for wearing a Speedo to school on sports day. I'm on water polo and it said to wear your sports uniform, so I did it. My name was known for dating this really popular girl in school, but I was invisible otherwise. When I met people and told them my name, they were always shocked when they realized I was the one dating the popular girl. Yeah, I was dating out of my league. I was hooking up with a chick in a room. Quite a few of my other friends were in there. I ate her out for about a good 15 minutes, and when it came to actually having sex, I couldn't get it up. Either it was the alcohol or that there was a bunch of people in the room just watching. After that weekend it seemed the whole school knew come Monday. Viagra was my nickname the rest of the year. That black girl from Texas. It was hard. We moved here when I was 15. Back in Texas I would have been starting HS in 10th grade. We just switched from junior highs, but here I was already a sophomore. Everybody had already known each other for a year. I also ended up switching schools after a month. I had to decide within a few days to switch. I'd finally started making friends and feeling comfortable, but I switched cause it was a better school and had a better orchestra program. People didn't really come around till senior year, and by then I was so freaking over everything and everybody. Teenagers are fickle and I wasn't fun. My depression was diagnosed soon after I switched schools. To people who had great HS experiences, I'm jealous, but I'm happy for you. Still technically in school for another month. I left school for 6 weeks to have surgery, recover etc, and when I came back everybody was really shocked because they thought I had died. An acquaintance told me everyone thought I went on a crack binge and got murdered by my drug dealer. No, I've never done crack, and I don't know any drug dealers. I laughed a lot at hearing this. I figured I was the closest thing to being invisible in school. Nice to know I'm fooling everybody, haha. The girl that got into a car wreck and ran into a teacher's house and put a Ford Bronco sized hole in her house next to her Christmas tree. We even made the front page of the newspaper. Everyone, about 300-900 people were in on the joke, would say frick you grumps every time they saw me in the hallway. It started by us playing a drinking game at one of my school's Friday bars. It's Denmark. The game was called Frick You, and basically you place cards and say frick you, name, and the person mentioned has to drink if he doesn't have a response. The entire table then decided to very audibly focus me. The rest of the school just heard a bunch of people yell frick you grumps, frick you grumps, frick you grumps. Good times. Quite a few of the girls in my freshman class had huge crushes my brother. I sold his senior class photo to several of them for $10 each. I was known as a S for having an older boyfriend. Then later in my sophomore year, the rumor went around that I was gay. Oh well, high school was long ago. Once in 9th grade a local Hollywood video was having a liquidation sale, and for like $2 I got several huge rolls of stickers that said now $9.99. I must have had over 5,000 stickers. So I decided to put the stickers on everything. I mean everything. But I hid them well so that you wouldn't see them unless you were looking for them, except for one on a sign near the entrance. I even got a few on the buses. Eventually people started to notice. Then I got bold and put them in more obvious places until I got caught. I almost got the stickers put in the yearbooks, but the teacher I got on board with it left and the new one didn't get it. They confiscated my main roll, but I have 5 more. Maybe I need to redecorate my college campus. They can take my role but they can never take my freedom. I was the person that did everything, especially band, marching band, jazz band, orchestra, check, theater, check, swimming, check, AP accelerated courses, check. I was asked for help in classes all the time. My school had a little convenience store inside. And guess who acted as manager? Yep, check that one off the list. 2. Oh, I do have one incident that comes to mind. At the time, I was dating this guy who was really nice, but kinda clueless when it came to others. One day, he was standing outside the cafeteria, just happily waving at our little group of friends. He was completely unaware of the group of thugs surrounding him, looking like they're about to jump him and take his wallet and crap. My school was a little ghetto, so this was a very realistic possibility. I saw this happening, jumped up from the table, broke through the group and grabbed his stupid butt before something bad happened. One guy in particular tried to get in my face, and I rolled my eyes at him and said, "Oh, frick you," and just walked away. I didn't, and still don't, think it was a huge deal, but a bunch of people at the next table overwatched the whole thing unfold and started applauding as I sat back down. I apparently got a reputation for not taking crap, and nobody really tried to frick with me or my friends after that. I didn't even consider myself popular, but I still have people I don't remember from high school approach me all the time. Still in high school, graduating in 3 months though, but I'm known as the guy who can solve the Rubik's Cube in under 10 seconds and blindfolded in 30. That's never a good thing. You know that one kid you pick on in school and after a while he goes freaking berserk? Yeah, that was me. Also weird emo kid, which would pee me off because I was the only kid in school into thrash metal, which isn't freaking emo. Thank you. Man, I swear to God, people at my school confuse those all the time, which is ironic because if anything, I'm more into hard rock and heavy metal as opposed to all of those subgenres of metal. And my school also has a decent sized metal community. One would think they would know their crap. I was the one guy who everyone in school knew, but no one was really friends with. I just lacked the fricks to give to actually get to know everyone there because I knew I was moving junior year and I'd never see them again. The girl that finally punched that stupid girl in the face that everyone wanted to punch in the face. Also, it was on the football field at the end of the only live broadcasted game of the season. She seriously deserved it though. The very strange one who disappeared without telling anyone for a year, my sophomore year, and came back for junior year 80 pounds lighter and never said a word about it and then graduated early, and as the girl who got breast implants at 16. I was the guy who would pirate crap and sell it to the other kids, even got requests from some of the teachers a couple of times. I was one of the first kids to get non-dial-up internet in the school. Combining this with me being the only one who knew about BitTorrent at the time everyone else was on Kazalimuari Mule etc. meant that I could obtain software, music, and movies much faster than anyone else. I mentioned this in passing to a couple guys in one of my classes and they asked if I could get some songs for them and put them on a CD. I initially said no, but when they offered to pay for it, a penniless me couldn't turn them down. They later told others, who then told others, until I was getting requests from kids outside of my year group. By my final year I was making a little over £70 per week doing this. It paid for my first gaming PC and made my first few months at university much easier. I was weird, like really weird, and loud, very loud. I was one of those people that had to stick out no matter what. You sound annoying. Smiling too much. My nickname was Smiley. People always thought I was either lying or laughing at them, but in reality my face loved to smile and sometimes I just couldn't control it. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.